Okay, welcome everybody to ToolboxTalk. It is October 23rd, Monday. We are on a new construction drywall job, and last week we were on the letter P. We went over personal and how personal activities can affect professional activities and they need to stay separate. We talked about private, we talked about how in risk management as a company, one of the things that personal bleeding into professional can make you more of a risk. So we talked about the need to, if you're fighting with your chick, or if you maybe drank a couple too many beers and have a headache, letting the company know that, like Sunday, isn't the greatest idea because you become a bigger risk. Okay, so then we're watching you more closely. We are, we're kind of on high alert to see if there's potential risk because your personal might affect your business. Now, if you get your act together, you come to work and you're fine, that's great. But what the company wants, what everybody wants, is to be able to feel secure. And when we're secure is we know you're making smart decisions in your personal life, we know your finances are in order, we know that your personal life's in order. And those things, even if they aren't in order, at least looking like they're in order is good for you as an employee and as an asset, okay? But today, we are on Q. So keywords, we've got the big one is quality. Quickness is another kind of keyword that I don't know that's necessarily, it is come in handy. LGBTQ, no, nobody? Quitting, okay.
I thought about this last night on keywords.
Quitting, quail hunting, that's important. That's fine for today. Okay, so quality, obviously a number one thing. Quality is something that is in the eye of the beholder, frankly. And it's going to be pretty important for us as a company to understand that quality is kind of part of our brand. Okay, so everybody has their brand or has something that defines what they are. Some of it is going to be speed, some of it's going to be price, some of it's going to be how soon they can get to a job or their communication. Quality is one of the things that kind of separates lower tier, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it separates some of the lower, not as reputable companies from the other ones. So they're selling, hey, you're gonna pay $5 more an hour because it's gonna be quality work. Now, a redneck can come along and say, well, yeah, that looks great, man. That's, well, compared to that trailer park, this is way better. And they may be right, but quality is in the eye of the beholder. So for us, as we're kind of growing as a company, what quality looks like is, okay, this is the industry standard. We're all learning, look, okay, this is the bare minimum. Like a single drywall guy should be able to put up 30 to 40 sheets a day by himself. Okay, that's just a standard kind of line. So if it's more than that or less than that, then your quality of work is going to be judged. So maybe you slap up a whole bunch of sheets, but they're all really bad. Obviously, something's not quite right. The quality is lower than it should be. So for us, what we're trying to sell or trying to accomplish is I'm going to say it's a standard of excellence. And that standard is not based off of our personal views. It's based off of an industry standard. It's based off of a trade standard. Okay, for us as a remodel crew / roofing crew / drywall crew / keep going, we have a lot of standards. Okay, but each individual trade, if you break it down, has a standard. Okay, there's a standard for concrete. There's a standard for roofing. There's a standard for drywall, and it's our job to know those. As we kind of grow, the drywall crew will have the standard for them. They'll know it. The new guys will come in. They'll learn it. That's their standard. But it's not defined by us. It's defined by the industry and what the industry would expect, okay? So just be aware of it. What quality doesn't stand for is quickness. Matter of fact, like everybody knows, like there's artists who work for years on a single painting that nobody's like asking when they're gonna get done because they know it's quality, they know it takes time. So quality isn't necessarily quickness, but it can bleed into quickness depending on what trade you're doing, things like that. Quality is definitely attention to detail. Doesn't matter what trade you're in, attention to detail is one of the earmarks of quality. He paid attention, he thought about it before he did it. When he left the job site, we appreciated it because they had all their stuff organized and cleaned up every day, that's to me, that's just cleaning. It's not even a part of the job, but it gets lumped into quality because they see that you're thinking about the job site. Another thing that quality is kind of known for is I don't know how to say this in the right way, uniformity, but like it's consistent. So quality, I'm just gonna say consistency. So if you're struggling, consistency, if you're struggling to like have consistent work, like if one piece looks one way, another piece looks another way, that's a sign of bad quality, okay? Yeah. Or it's a sign of lack of training, which that's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you were trained for a long time or weren't. If you have inconsistent work, like if you paint one wall and it looks good, there's no streaks, and you paint another wall doesn't, and they're not the same, then there's a quality issue, okay? So quality checks, like when we go through to do our punch list item, one of the things that always flags like an inspector or things like that is when they notice like all the outlets, they want everything to look the same. And if something looks different, then it flags them, like there's an issue. So quality is like like uniformity, I would say. Okay, so just so you're aware of it. Another thing as far as quality goes is typically, and I already said quickness and rush, but I'd say like a good part of quality is the ability to communicate what you're doing. So like a qualified person should be able to explain the work that you're doing to somebody in a way that they can understand. Like everybody can kind of bullshit their way through something, but if you don't actually know what you're doing and you're kind of like throwing some stuff out there to kind of like make a customer comfortable, I mean, you're better off just not saying nothing, you know? Because if you're qualified to do something, then you know how it works. So quality, you understand the assignment, okay? It's important to know. Okay, so that's quality in a nutshell. There's a standard. There is attention to detail. Quickness is not necessarily connected to quality. There's uniformity, consistency. There's understanding the assignment and the ability to communicate that at minimum by your work, by that consistency. That's what we're looking for. And it pays for itself. So somebody who actually knows what they're doing, you don't have to go back near as much, you know, especially in our trades where like we're doing drywall right now. One missed screw, you know, can affect 3 different trades if you're not careful. You know, it can affect the finish guy, the mudder guy. It can affect the plumber if we're not careful. It can affect the painter guy. You know, It can hit multiple different people when it would have while we're on site, just a quick check to make sure our gun's running consistent, okay? So that's quality. Let's do it. Quickness, another keyword, is a skill, okay? Quickness is a skill that is an asset for certain trades. For roofing, definitely. For certain industries, it's trade. Other industries, there's not much advantage of being quick. I mean, maybe flooring a little bit. Quickness is not something that we're trying to do. What is the phrase that I'm hoping everybody knows when it comes to getting something done quick? What are you supposed to do? There's a phrase, in order to go quick, what are you supposed to do? The phrase I'm thinking of.
Well, we know we don't think like you.
So there's a phrase that's go slow to go fast. Is I think the phrase, I don't know exactly how it's worded, but what they say is they say go slow to go fast. So like when you're working with somebody who knows what they're doing, they may like spend an hour cut it, like they'll go through, measure, cut a whole bunch of sheets, and it will look like they went very slow.
Maybe slow down to speed up or something like that.
Yeah, so slow down to speed up, or one of those. There's a couple phrases that basically say like, look, if you plan something out, it's going to go faster. If you prepare, it's going to go faster. Like, so if you slow down, instead of just like, we rush into this job site here, start slapping up sheets, then all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of cutoffs that we didn't need, or we don't have enough drills because we didn't think about it ahead of time, or random stuff like that, that happens to get us in a spot to where it's actually, we're going slower because we tried to go fast. So preparation is a big part of quickness, and knowledge is another big part of quickness. For me, like when I'm roofing, I don't really have to think about it because I've got muscle memory to be able to slap down where it needs to go. If you're having to think, you're gonna go slower. So muscle memory is how you get stuff done. If you don't have muscle memory, then you need to be doing that thing more, or you need to like understand it so well that it's instinctive to be able to get it done, okay? Muscle memory is by far like the fastest way of being able to be fast, because it's just instinct. The body, you don't have to have the mind involved. If you're having to think about something, you're not gonna be fast at it. That's the way it works. That's quickness. Be careful with it. Some people, especially some of these.
In some cases, I'm more scared to do that though. We got that.
Yeah, and you do. Like, so if you don't understand it, then you better be very careful about being quick. So you stay slow until you understand it, because being quick, not understanding, is going to get you in trouble. You already know, like it will. We've seen it happen, like failing to frame a wall properly, checking to make sure everything's square, nailing something in before like lines have been popped, whatever it might be, like failing to follow procedures that's going to get you in trouble because you're trying to get something done. Okay. The guys who do a specific thing, I'll joke with them or I'll encourage them to be fast because they should know. Like they should do it. Like they should know. I'm like, hey, look, I want this thing done. Because there shouldn't be any thinking involved. Like they should already know. It should be like muscle memory, like knock it out. And there's a place for that, but not if you don't understand. So be careful about quickness. It's more of a job slower or a job herder than it is a helper most of the time. It doesn't tend to help many people. Now, I say you should stay moving. You shouldn't just sit there with your hands in your pockets all day. It looks professional to stay going, but being quick for quick's purpose alone is not smart, okay? Quitting. Final one for the day. We have a process for quitting. But just briefly, if you're unhappy with somebody else, if you're unhappy with the company, if you're unhappy with a coworker, one thing that I'd recommend is it's never a good idea to burn bridges, okay? And it's in your best interest because you are, especially in our industry, like you're what makes you money. Like your skill set is why you're getting paid. So it's in your skill set to look as good as possible, regardless of why you can't work with somebody. I mean, maybe you can't work with somebody because, they're farting all the time and you just had enough of it, okay? Or you can't work with somebody because they're smack talking about your mama or something. I don't know, whatever it might be. The goal when it comes to quitting is not burning bridges and being professional, okay? What gets a lot of people in trouble is 3 things. Number 1 is they ghost. So like they just vaporize, like no contact, no answer call. I call you like, hey, where you at? Nothing, And then 3 months later, they're like, hey, sorry, I was kind of going through a rough patch. I'm okay now. Thank you so much for letting me work for you. This has happened, okay? But it's a common thing. So this will not let you get hired back, frankly, because it shows that you're caring more about your personal than like protecting your future. And if you're caring more about your personal issues, then being able to like send a text message saying like, hey, look, I got some stuff going on right now. I apologize. I'll let you know when things are better. Like at least to where you have a chance of getting a good recommendation at a future job or something. Be careful. But ghosting is just a bad idea in general. Another thing that's a bad idea is talking bad about like coworkers or the profession. It's just dangerous. Even if it's true, it's dangerous. So typically we talked about it in one of the other Toolbox talks about the need to like not give out more information than necessary. Sometimes keeping it simple is better, and like it looks better on you because I've had the reverse happen. James knows all about it, where like some old employer like calls and tries to smack talk, and it just makes him look bad. I mean, I already know like my workers and like we already have experience together. So like trying to prove that somebody else is, has issues. Everybody knows everybody's got issues. I mean, we all got issues. But like trying to prove to somebody who's not connected and looking from the outside, they're gonna be just like drama, not interested, and that's the thing. We're not interested in drama. Okay. So just be careful about talking bad in general. And you can talk bad professionally, like to where like people have a guard up without like if you're in court and the judge is like, you smack talking, sir, I just stated facts.
Constructive criticism.
Yeah, whatever it might be. So just be careful when it comes to quitting. Quitting, that's like quitting job, bad days quitting. You've broken your 5th piece of drywall and you're getting upset.
Cut your finger.
You cut your finger? No, we're not cutting fingers ever because we wear proper protection and all this stuff. But quitting, what I recommend, this is just a recommendation as a professional, as I'm learning professional, is if you need 5 minutes to walk off stubbing your toe, or just you've had a really bad weekend, not that I know about this bad weekend, but Monday's off to a rough start, communication is really important. So I'm totally fine with somebody taking 10 minutes, 5 minutes, walking off, but failing to communicate before makes you look bad and is potentially dangerous, okay? So if you just walk off, and everybody's going to interpret you walking off as, oh, he's pissed,
And what he's saying by communicate, he's saying like, tell us, hey, I got to deal with something real quick. Not tell us the whole story. Like we don't want to know.
This is true.
We want to know, hey, I'm doing something right now. Give me 10 minutes. I'll be right back.
Yeah, like, hey, look, I'm going to collect myself.
When you say to communicate, don't tell us.
Yeah, no, we don't want to hear the whole story. But we do want you to be able to say, hey guys, I need 5 minutes. I'll be back. Because the risk management side of things is You go walking off, no explanation. Are you coming back? How do I schedule? Who's helping with this? How do I plan things? You're basically making a lot more work for other people because you've just chosen not to communicate. And of course, probably everybody, especially if we're working as crews together, everybody knows you're gonna just walk off and come right back, But that communication is important, especially as we get new guys on, as we, are in front of other trades working on job sites. It's important to communicate because, say I'm working with Ben, he gets mad about something, walks off, or has to deal with some drama on his phone, whatever, like Clash of Clans is mad at him for not attacking soon enough, which is very possible. But like, he's gonna say, hey, I need 5 minutes, walks away. So instead of me being able to put a sheet up, I can't put a sheet up anymore. So I'm gonna prep for 5 minutes. I'm gonna do other things knowing that he's coming back. So it's important. Just be careful on how you quit. The goal for you, for every professional, is to look as good as possible. Like a lot of people kind of fall into the pattern of, I'm here to get paid so I can pay my bills. I understand that. But that getting paid so you can pay your bills is a little bit of like a rut in the road. You're not gonna ever improve, you're not gonna move up the ladder. Your goal for all of us should be I'm here to help, to be an asset, to basically improve the job site, improve myself. Your goal is to move up the chain to where you're running a crew. So you're thinking like running a crew. You're thinking on, what it would take to do certain things. So you're always wanting to make sure you're looking as good as possible, whenever you're around. And I don't mean that in a butt kisser way. I just mean it as, in general, if other tradespeople are watching us and seeing how we're operating, how we're communicating, then and I've had it happen multiple times. Hey, anytime you need a job, bro, come on, that kind of a deal, to where that you're an asset. People around you see that you're being an asset. You're not just like a grunt worker who's just doing what they're told because they need to get paid so they can go buy more beer, even if that's what you are. Okay, that's quitting in a nutshell. Any other Q things that we need to discuss? No? Okay, quality, quickness, the danger of it, quitting, toolbox talk. All right, we'll talk about this job now.